Stop.
An 87-year-old woman with a kitchen knife in her hand is tased by police for picking dandelions in her yard.
Wait, un momento. You're gonna have to get in here. Once you get in here, you can talk to me.
What happens when fear and misunderstanding escalate to force watches a simple gardening act turns into a constitutional crisis, one that questions how we treat the elderly and non-English speakers. On August 10, 2018, Martha Al-Bashara, a Syrian immigrant with limited English, was quietly foraging for dandelion greens near her home in Chatsworth, Georgia. She held a basic kitchen knife, something used in gardens every day across the country. The property she was on belonged to the local Boys and Girls Club, but it was only partially fenced and close to the public sidewalk. When an employee couldn't get her to leave, they called 911. Police were dispatched, and within moments, what should have been a calm, low-risk welfare check turned into something far more violent. This is Citizens versus Systems, and today we ask, when does protocol become abuse, and what does it say about a system that tases a grandmother for picking weeds? Hit like if you believe this story deserves to be heard and drop a comment. Should police be trained differently when dealing with the elderly and non-English speakers?
Is she inside the building, or is she just outside?
She's outside. There's no kids around her. She told me she doesn't speak English and keeps walking up our trail with a knife towards me.
Okay, is everybody inside the building?
Yeah, all the kids are.
What about everybody else?
A few staff right here watching with me.
Okay.
She's old, so she can't get around too well, but looks like she's walking around looking for something, like vegetation to cut down or something. She has a bag too.
But she came out at someone with a knife, though, right? Or did she just have it? Okay.
Throwing the knife onto the property in her hand.
Okay.
She didn't try and attack anybody or anything. We haven't closed in our fence in the back yet, and she walked through there.
Responding to the 911 call, officers from the Chatsworth Police Department arrived, including Chief Josh Etheridge and Officer Stephen Marshall. By the time another officer with a body cam showed up, the others had already made contact with Ms. Al-Bashara. She was still in the field holding the same kitchen knife she'd used to cut dandelions. Calm, quiet, non-threatening. But according to the officer's later account, they drew their weapons and shouted commands for her to drop the knife, all of it in English. She didn't run, she didn't raise her voice, and she didn't seem to understand a word they were saying.
Chatsworth, for 10-4, I'm out with him.
Why did you not stop?
Stand up.
Stand up. Stand up.
Stand up.
Stop.
It's on your chest there.
Stop her. Go pull. It's okay.
Where's home at, ma'am?
She lives close. She lives over here.
Right here.
The body cam footage doesn't show the full exchange, but the officer reports that Chief Etheridge tried to de-escalate by tossing his own pocket knife on the ground, as if this silent gesture could somehow bridge the language gap. But Martha Al-Bashara, still unaware, kept calmly foraging, slowly walking toward the officers. Then just 5 yards away from them, an 87-year-old woman, barely over 5 feet tall, an officer pulled the trigger on his taser. The probe struck her chest, dropping her to the ground. She hadn't run, she hadn't threatened, she hadn't even looked up. Under the Fourth Amendment, force must be reasonable. Courts weigh 3 questions. How serious was the alleged crime? Did the person pose an immediate threat, and were they actively resisting? In this case, the alleged crime was trespassing, at most a misdemeanor. The woman didn't speak the language. She held a kitchen knife. Yes, but the officers already knew she was using it to cut plants. The danger arguably imagined. So why did it take a jolt of 50,000 volts to handle a grandmother with a dandelion blade?
Go ahead.
Yeah, 26 before you taser. Female, in custody this time.
10-4, do you have a number or listing for North 7th Avenue? The door's open over here.
And you want to hold her? I'll go get mine. Mine's right behind me.
Is it your casa? Your casa right there?
ايه خلينا نروح.
Where's your son?
نايم.
Son.
ايه تعال.
Your son? No.
تعال.
No. Where's your son?
دخيلك أنا.
Is he at work?
ايه خليني أروح.
No, ma'am.
سلام دوني.
Solomon Donay?
ايه.
Who?
هو
How do you know Solomon?
ايه.
Solomon, how do you know him?
ماني فاهم عليك.
Is that your grandson?
بس هون خلونا نقعد هون بالفيل.
No, door's open though.
هون تحت السجن.
I knocked and I guess she's just by herself.
10-4, the only thing that we have from 705 North 7th Avenue is going to be a 1047, and there was going to be a language barrier. I do have a home phone number.
Chatsworth, nobody's home right now.
Family.
ايه خليني امشي لهنا.
Who's that? Selena?
Selena.
هسا بيجدوني.
Do you know these people?
لا هون. هذا هو ها. ولا شيء عشان جيت لهون ده.
كم مرة صاروا قايلين لك لا تيجي لهون؟
You know why? She went to live there in the line. I'm sorry about that.
Let's go this way, man.
لا تخافي يما بس عشانك حاملة سكينة.
Ma'am, come on.
وين تاخذني على الشرطة؟
Gotta go in here, ma'am.
مانيش رايح.
Okay.
لا مانيش رايح.
No, ma'am.
تعي يا وداد.
This way, ma'am.
لا.
Come on, ma'am.
هيفاء تعي انت تعي معي.
Ma'am, you're gonna have to get in there.
خايفة في المنك.
Wait, un momento. You're gonna have to get in here.
لا.
Once you get in here, you can talk to them, okay?
لا.
Yes, ma'am.
لا. تعي لهون.
شو مخليني اقرب؟ لا تخافي هي اجراء قانوني هسه احنا بنروح لعندك على الفرع هون. Where do you go?
Hey, ma'am. We'll take her to jail. You need to ask her politely. Just sit in the.
Yeah, she will. But please, she's an old lady. And
Oh, I get it. But you can't have knives, sir. You.
Okay.
Just tell her to sit down and we'll.
After the taser incident, a family member pleaded with the officers, reminding them that Martha Al-Bashara was simply an old lady. But the officers didn't budge. They argued she was trespassing on private property with a knife and decided to arrest her. Under Georgia law, a person commits criminal trespass only if they knowingly stay on private land after being told to leave. But Ms. Al-Bashara barely spoke English. There's strong reason to believe she didn't even understand that she was being asked to leave. Courts in Georgia have ruled that knowingly means being aware of what you're doing and doing it anyway. That intent was missing here. As for the knife, Georgia law defines a weapon as a knife over 12 inches in length built for offense or defense. The kitchen knife Martha carried didn't meet that threshold. She wasn't hiding it. She wasn't wielding it. She was picking weeds. So the charges didn't hold much weight, and legally speaking, it's likely she broke no law at all. But this moment revealed something deeper, a system that saw an elderly immigrant with limited English not as a neighbor needing help, but as a threat needing force. Would the same decision have been made if she'd looked different, spoken English, worn a different skin? These are questions we can't ignore. Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit like if you think this arrest crossed a line, and subscribe to stay updated as we keep exposing these power imbalances.
Yeah, try to translate to her to sit in the car, ma'am, because we don't want to pick her up or force her.
She's mother-in-law Solomon Donay. If you know him, you know we are good people. Please.
Let's give him high, give him high.
Okay. Let's sit over here.
I'm scared for her. She have a heart problem. Please. She didn't know any English. يوم قالوا لك زدت السكينة ليش ما زدتيها؟ اطلعي مشان قبل ما يفوت أبوي اطلعي.
أنا فهمان عليهم. تعي مرتي معي تعي.
Come sit right here, ma'am. We'll be able to sit down and roll down the window and you can speak with her.
That was my
Yeah, put it on.
Somebody's going to take you to the hospital. إني اقعدي ماما اطلعي.
مانيش طالع يحرق أبوكم أبو.
يا ماما لا تخافي يا حبيبة عمري لا تخافي.
خلي مرتك تطلع معي.
أنا sit down هم بدهم يحكوا معك بالسيارة. You want to sit in the car with her?
أنا ما بقدر أقعد هلا معك بس بروح معك بالسيارة. كل شيء معلش، أوكي؟ ما في شيء بس هيك لازم نساوي، أوكي؟ ما في شيء. Yeah. Yeah. Just heading dandelions at the lane beside it.
Yeah, you're right. So that's what we're talking about. You know,
Yeah.
my brother can come and he goes.
So we were demonstrating for her.
I'm so sorry about that. I'm really sorry. But you know, you have to understand she's an old lady and you know she's not in harm or something. Please.
Ma'am, does she have any kind of... She has dementia. Why is she by herself?
You know, with my dad, and I just went back home to bring some food.
You need to always have somebody here at all
that's
times.
what we have to do. You know, sorry about that, but...
Yeah, because if not...
Don't worry, Teta. لا تخافي ماما. She gonna by herself. Who won't translate to her, please?
Do you mind?
Let my daughter go with her, please.
You are more than welcome to go to the sheriff's department. We cannot. The sheriff's department will not allow you in their booking area.
Till dad, go there. Where is in Chatsworth here?
Yes, the Murray County Sheriff's Office.
All right, here he is. You can take off.
Dad go and meet her there.
Hello?
I don't. Let me see your phone.
My phone.
My phone is shiny.
My phone in my bag. Go.
After being tased and arrested, Martha Al-Bashara, 87 years old, confused and unable to speak English, was taken to jail. She spent about 2.5 hours in a cell. Then she was taken to a hospital where doctors found no injuries, no health emergencies, just trauma. The state charged her with obstruction and criminal trespass. But months later, on June 27th of 2019, the local district attorney dropped the charges. In a letter to the police chief, he wrote that while he found no fault with the officer's actions, he didn't see any reason to continue prosecuting a woman in these circumstances. It wasn't necessary, it wasn't practical. But the case didn't end there. Martha filed a lawsuit against the city of Chatsworth, and in January 2020, the city agreed to pay her $150,000 in a legal settlement. As part of the agreement, the city also committed to training its officers in de-escalation and mental health intervention. They pledged to equip all patrol officers with body cams and to continue efforts to diversify their police force. An independent agency reviewed the use of force in this case. Their conclusion: the officers acted reasonably based on what they knew at the time, that someone with a knife was on the property. Dispatch never told them the suspect was elderly, never mentioned the language barrier, never said she was picking weeds. Even so, the agency noted that the officers had 3 options: retreat, use physical force, or deploy the taser. They chose the third, believing it was most appropriate under the circumstances. The police chief defended his officers by saying even an 87-year-old with a knife could hurt someone. But Martha's family called the whole thing what it was, a tragedy that should have never happened. Her great-nephew, a former cop himself, said if 3 trained officers couldn't handle an old woman with a kitchen knife, maybe they shouldn't be wearing the badge. What do you think? Was this force justified, or was it fear and misunderstanding wrapped in a badge? Comment below and subscribe to Citizens vs. Systems for more breakdowns like this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But why here? There's no one here.
There's staff was coming in earlier. And there's been people coming in.
Well, they call because they don't feel comfortable with you here.
Okay.
So, yeah, unless you want to get trespassed, that's up to you. I'd find someone else to go. There's no one even here.
I'm cool right here, man. I'm gonna stay right here for a while.
Well, no, they want you gone.
Too bad for them. It's not their decision.
It is, because this is Tampa property.
Yeah, city of Tampa property. It's a public park.
No, but they can trespass you for whatever reason
they want to trespass me, then they can trespass me. But I have just as much right to be here as anybody else.
So you're trying to make a point? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
Well, now what's the point of that?
We'll find out. All right. I have just as much right to be here as anybody else.
Yeah, but you have to understand, trespass rules are just that.
Okay, trespass, and I'll refuse to leave, and you can take me to jail, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Okay. That's easy enough.
You gotta give me a warning first.
I just did.
They want me to trespass?
Yep.
What happens if I don't leave?
If you don't leave, then I get them. They're going to come out here and officially say you're not allowed here.
And then I have a chance to leave.
And then I say, okay, you need to leave. Of course, I don't know why I have to go through all that, but you need to leave. And then once you do or don't, then I write a trespass warning, and then I give it to you. And then if you don't...
I'm not going anywhere unless I'm trespassing.
Okay.
Trespass me, I'll leave.
Do you have your ID on you?
I do, and I'm not giving that to you.
See, that's a problem.
That's not a problem.
Listen, because I'm doing an investigation.
You're not getting my ID.
Ooh, buddy, you gotta...
If you don't have a lawful right to my ID.
All right.
Back in May 2024, First Amendment Auditor Jeff Gray stood in a public park holding a sign. Nothing violent, nothing obscene, just speech, quiet, protected speech. Officer Robinson of the Tampa Police Department arrived on scene, approached Jeff, and asked for his ID. Jeff refused, and legally he had every right to do so. Under the 1979 Supreme Court case, Brown v. Texas, officers cannot demand someone's ID without reasonable suspicion that a crime has been or is about to be committed. Florida's own Stop and Frisk statute, section 901-151, says the same police must have specific reasons to believe you're tied to a crime before they can force you to identify yourself. At the time of the stop, Jeff wasn't being disruptive. He wasn't trespassing. He wasn't even asked to leave the park. He was simply holding a sign and expressing his views, something courts have repeatedly protected under the First Amendment. So what was Officer Robinson's justification? He didn't have one. And under the law, that's not just a mistake, it's a potential rights violation. This moment, quiet, civil, but deeply important, highlights how easily law enforcement can overstep when they fail to understand the limits of their authority. When someone peacefully stands in a public space and exercises a constitutional right, should the police respond with authority or with understanding? Let us know what you think. Drop a comment, like the video, and subscribe to Citizens vs. Systems as we continue examining the fine line between law and power.
I told you. Can I get 54? I have someone trying to make a point here about trespassing. If I can get 54. And if Mike 1's available as well. Oh, gosh.
It's a civil matter. You only get my ID if it's criminal trespass.
It's a misdemeanor. Sir, it's fine. It's okay. I don't mind taking you to jail for a misdemeanor. It's fine. It just seems pointless for everyone's... But that's okay.
Leave, but I don't have to give you my ID.
That's okay. Hi. Can you come tell him he came back? He's trying to make a point, saying that, you know, whatever. So I just need you to officially tell him that he is not welcome here.
Okay.
I don't know why it has to be this way, but...
Okay. All right.
You don't have to get... You know, just right here is fine.
Okay. Hi. So, the only thing... you're not going to get any help here because I just have little children coming in. It's not like...
No, his stance is that he's not begging. His stance is that he's trying to spread the word. Although it's convoluted either way.
It's better that you're not, because like I said, I have small children coming in.
So all it needs to be is you don't want him here anymore.
It's better if you're not here, please.
Okay, well, I'd rather stay here. You don't have the authority to tell me not to be here.
So, do you want him here,
No,
yes or no?
I don't.
Okay, you're good.
All right, thank you.
Site supervisor Linda Hall stepped into the situation next. At Officer Robinson's request, she told Jeff Gray he wasn't welcome on the property. But here's the problem. This was public property, a park, and Jeff wasn't causing harm. He was holding a sign, peacefully expressing his views. Under long-standing Supreme Court precedent, Perry Education Assen versus Perry Local Educators Assen 1983 parks are considered traditional public forums where speech gets the highest level of protection. That means government officials can't just kick someone out for making them uncomfortable, especially when that person is exercising First Amendment rights. The government would need to show a compelling reason, like an actual threat or disruption, and in this case, there was none. Saying employees felt uncomfortable isn't a legal reason to trespass someone from public space, and saying children were present doesn't automatically strip away constitutional rights, especially when the speech posed no threat to anyone's safety. Jeff wasn't violating any laws, but he was still pushed out, and that's exactly why videos like this matter. Do you think police should have the power to remove peaceful citizens from public parks just because someone feels uneasy, or is that a dangerous precedent to set?
Let's see what we got here. I'm curious. Hi, how are you? And then 68D QRG. And I'll try this one too, okay? Let's see. I'm thinking this isn't it, but let's see.
As Jeff Gray walked away, Officer Robinson wasn't done. He pulled out his notepad and started writing down license plate numbers from the nearby parked cars, hoping to figure out Jeff's identity through vehicle records. Legally, he's allowed to do that. Courts have long held that license plates displayed in public aren't protected by privacy laws. In fact, in the 2020 case, United States versus Johnson, the 11th Circuit made it clear running a license plate doesn't count as a search under the Fourth Amendment. Because tags are on the outside of a car and visible to anyone passing by, police don't need suspicion to run them. It might feel invasive, but by law, it's fair game. Still, the optics here are hard to ignore. When an officer resorts to surveillance to unmask someone simply for exercising their rights, it raises a deeper question. When free speech meets quiet intimidation, where do we draw the line? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you believe in pushing back against misuse of power, make sure to like this video and follow Citizens vs. Systems for more constitutional breakdowns.
Mike, yeah, I think we're sorting out. You can probably cancel Mike 1. You don't need to mess with him. He's good.
Guy just wants to go?
Yeah, well, he wants to play a game. He has a sign that doesn't ask for money, that just spreads the word of God bless homeless vets.
Guy.
He sits here, he was in his car, cooled off, and then he sees me and comes out. I'm not leaving this. You can't trespass me.
Ooh.
So I said, well, actually, this is city property. And she came out and said it. Well, I'm not doing anything. So then he moved to the sidewalk.
Okay.
And so now this is his car. So I'm going to officially write him a trespass warning for this property.
Okay.
Because he refused identification as well.
Oh, sit down. But his car is here.
Yeah. Hey. Sorry, I didn't mean to get everyone over here. I thought I was gonna have to rough and tumble for a little bit, but then he started messing around. I was like, you know what?
For this guy?
Yeah.
Did he give his name eventually?
No, still doesn't, but I ran his car and it comes back to him, so.
Which one's his car?
The white one.
The truck?
Yeah.
So you're gonna trespass from this property, I guess?
Yes.
He's like on the sidewalk, right?
Yes. I mean, if he wants to be weird, then that's his prerogative.
Right, we're not here for the soliciting. We're here for the trespass.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to play it out with trespass.
Well, yeah, because he's gonna have to get in his car and leave. Yeah. Because his car's on the property.
Oh, there it goes.
Alrighty, sir. You've been trespassed from the immediate area. I don't want to really push it because, I mean, we have to start getting into what's property line, what's not property line. But this is a community center, and that includes all the facilities here. So without making a big deal about it, if you want to be here on the road, that's fine. You're not soliciting technically, but they don't want you on this property anymore. So this is going to be your official trespass warning, all right?
Understood.
You have any questions for me?
Nope, I'm good.
Alrighty, sir. Good luck to you.
After being trespassed from the park simply for holding a protest sign, Jeff Gray didn't just walk away, he fought back the right way. He filed a formal complaint against site supervisor Linda Hall and challenged the trespass order itself. And nearly a year later, on May 17, 2024, it paid off. The city of Tampa reviewed the incident. Senior Assistant City Attorney Michael Schmid sent word the trespass warning had been rescinded. But the fallout didn't end there. While the outcome of the complaint against Hall remains unclear, what's clear is this: Officer Robinson and M. Hall acted against a man exercising his First Amendment rights. For that, they both get an F. They didn't just violate protocol, they betrayed the public trust by placing personal discomfort above constitutional law. Instead of protecting the right to free speech, they silenced it. Instead of investigating objectively, they retaliated emotionally. That said, one thing Officer Robinson did. Right deserves mention. He chose to run license plates legally rather than unlawfully demand ID. It's a small detail, but one many officers overlook when confronting someone who knows their rights. Jeff Gray, on the other hand, gets an A+. He stayed calm, respectful, and law-abiding even while being pushed out of a public space. He didn't yell, he didn't escalate. He just stood his ground, filed his paperwork, and walked away with a clean win. This is how you hold systems accountable. If you support this kind of peaceful resistance, if you believe that public parks belong to the people, smash that like button, drop your take in the comments, and subscribe to Citizens vs. Systems for more breakdowns that challenge power with principle.